All right, well, political analyst Professor Booysen joins us now in studio for further discussions. Prof, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Alicia.
Professor, can you take the nerves? I mean, just last week we were talking about the slow pace and in the resolution of this matter. And of course, a week went by with nothing, no resolution, and we're still in the same position that we're at last week, Sunday. I mean, any headway here? Are you expecting any of that?
Below the surface at some level, and intra the structures of the ANC, like NWC, NEC, Top 6, a lot has been happening. And in many ways, it is ANC processes taking shape, of course, while the whole nation, and often not ANC members, are very impatient and do not see that progress being made. But it has been a relentless cycle, all in one direction, that has been unfolding below the surface in the last week. For example, we know, but maybe that is really pivotal, Cyril Ramaphosa and his presidency of the ANC really wants to do things differently. And this I know from doing interviews with many people in his inner circles. He wants to do things differently. He doesn't want to be seen to be overriding, being authoritarian, not doing things with the NEC. And of course, being insistent on doing it with the NEC means that he has to consult, means that he takes the mandate from the NEC and the NWC, but especially from the NEC. Then when talks do not work out, of the Top 6, for example, with Jacob Zuma, when his one-on-ones with Jacob Zuma do not work out, he does not reckon that he has that sole authority to step back and take the decisions. He knows that he has not been able, with Zuma's consent, agreement to resign, to fulfill that mandate that the NEC had given him. And so he has to take it back to the NEC, and that is really what is happening today. And we know this NEC has been brought forward by about 5 days, from a regular one on Saturday to today.
But Prof, a lot of people are saying, I mean, since President Jacob Zuma took over the reins at the ANC, that has not been the narrative. He's been taking decisions on his own, and therefore Cyril Ramaphosa should exercise the exact same thing.
Cyril Ramaphosa, probably, if he wants to play that game, but he does not want to play that game. He wants to do it consensually with his NEC. And he is also very, I guess one can use the word respectful of the fact that he won Nasrec only by a small majority. And he wants to make sure that he unites these structures of the ANC, that is inclusive of different factions, different groupings, interests, rather than potentially alienating and overriding by being authoritarian when he goes about these organizational changing, life-changing decisions.
All right, now Prof, unity was the crux of this year's message that resonated through the January 8 statement. But a lot of people have said, as we're discussing, that the Zuma leaving the party or being recalled is not necessarily going to solve the issues within the ruling party. What's your take on that?
No, of course they're not going to solve the issues. The issues and the problems
go
so deep. Patronage, corruption, mismanagement, those run very, very deep in the ANC. And for the ANC really to be turned around, it's going to be a very long and painful series of action that will have to unfold. But there's no going back. I believe in Thursday's caucus meeting that Ramaphosa also made it very clear to his MPs that there's only one way going forward. He might have returned from Davos with a huge amount of interest, potential investment, getting the economy going, etc. But he reminded them that that is conditional. So we're still going to see many ugly processes unfolding in the ANC as the levels of complicity, accountability and corruption, as those come to the fore, and even prominent people in the ANC, in the Ramaphosa's ANC, or in a newly converted to Ramaphosa ANC, might be paying very heavy penalties in that process.
Prof, just hold that thought. We're going to come back to you in a short while. But right now, NC Limpopo chairperson Sten Mathabatha has assured party members and the country at large that the NEC meeting taking place today will finalize and close the transition impasse. Mathabatha was addressing the PC Lekgotla at Mokopane in Limpopo. The address was a few hours ahead of the NEC special meeting here in Gauteng, in Irene to be precise. Mathabatha, who is also a member of the NEC, says that the new NC leadership will prioritize the interests of South Africans.
This matter will come to an end today. It will be resolved today. there is a clear commitment to almost many of the NEC members that one has already spoken to, that this matter must be put to a rest today. We can't afford to fail our people anymore. Our people have spoken to us in 2016, and our people have shown us that there is no one, including the African National Congress, who should come before them. The people of South Africa comes first, and they must be respected.
All right, let's now rope in on this discussion a political analyst, Mr. Levy. Ndou, Levy, a very good afternoon to you. I think just last week we were deliberating on the same issue, and I was just asking the professor, we found ourselves to be in the very same position. Look, President Jacob Zuma survived a total of 9 political scandals during his tenure, and of course the 6 motions of no confidence. What do you think makes him so elusive?
Well, I think there are a number of factors that one has to look at. Firstly, the support base that Jacob Zuma has in the ANC in the past and now might have also played a significant role. Mm-hmm. But I think another aspect that we need to look at as well is that his party, the ANC, had not as yet taken a decision to say, with all these scandals and with all these motions, maybe we need to start moving ahead or a step ahead. Yeah. They have not done so. But I think today is a quite different day because the NEC is meeting to deliberate whether it should stay on or exit. And I think this is going to be one of the shortest meetings that the NEC would ever have because there are 2 issues to discuss. Whether President Zuma has agreed to resign or he has refused. And both have got their own processes. But the processes would actually have to come after he has actually acceded to the request from his NEC. Mm. And I think what we need to start working on is the processes that have to follow if he has actually agreed to resign or if he has disagreed to resign.
Professor Booysen, what do you think constitutes President Jacob Zuma's refusal to resign? Does he know something that we don't? Because we've heard him in some of his speeches saying that if people are pushing him to talk, he's going to release state secrets, for lack of a better word.
Yes, yes. It's such a dense wall of defense that he has constructed around him. Not just being privy to state secrets and probably knowing the small nyanas and big ones in everybody's closets, and that probably being some of the reasons why he had appointed them in the first place. Many people have told me that that is how President Zuma has been working over the years. Appoint those people who he has got something on and who knows that President Zuma has got something on them. So they will comply and please in whatever way possible. And so many of those people have been appointed throughout executive and bureaucratic structures of the South African state. It's very difficult to move beyond those. And in terms of his own political loyalty in top structures, people over the years have been elected systematically to fill those positions in the branches, the regional structures, the provincial structures of the ANC, and then transferring to provincial governments, municipal governments as well. So he has got a lot of systematically built support, and he is still relying that some of these people will come out and for whatever dirt is spilled on them, then will do something in retribution, a quid pro quo in that respect. But then we know a crucial factor, and that is how political power really works, mostly, not unambiguously, but mostly, and that is that people go with where the latest political power is. And it is very certain that power in the ANC has shifted towards Cyril Ramaphosa. We can look at the most recent NEC meetings and NWC meetings. Those, his big supporters have just gone quieter and quieter and quieter, and they do not raise their hands anymore. And they say specifically, we cannot continue defending him ad infinitum. And so power is shifting, and people know if the ANC wins the next round of elections, 2019, then Cyril Ramaphosa will be the man to be making the appointments, appointing cabinet, and many other positions. They know what side the bread is buttered.
But then, Levi, what the Prof is saying, shouldn't that be the edge that drives the MPs then to take decisive action when it comes to this issue? I know the professor was saying before you got here that, look, a lot of people are not seeing the progress in these talks, but the ANC should be left alone to allow its processes, proper processes to unfold, and that it's just the nation that is growing impatient. What do you think about this?
I think one other area that has frustrated a lot of South Africans has been the inability to understand the processes within the ANC. There was a perception that immediately a week after the conference in Nasrec, Jacob Zuma was going to be removed.
Recalled, yes.
And that is not how the ANC operates, unfortunately.
True.
Because they had not had the meeting, a properly constituted meeting of the ANC to take that kind of a decision. And if you look at the processes, they had a meeting, and immediately after that meeting, a decision was then taken to say the top 6 must then go and start engaging President Zuma. Now, there are a number of discussions that have been taking place by members of the ANC, but those were not formal discussions. And remember, some years back, few months ago, there was a discussion on the removal of President Zuma from office in the NEC.
Yes.
But there was no decision taken to say we are removing him.
True.
And the difference now is that in the previous meeting, the top 6 was given a responsibility to go and have a discussion with President Zuma, looking at how best should they manage transition for him to get out of office.
So it is a mandate at this stage.
It is a mandate.
Yeah.
There was a discussion for him to be removed from office. And that is why today's meeting becomes crucial, because it must deal with 2 things, and I repeat, whether he has agreed to resign or not. And that cannot be a very, very long meeting, because the other processes will then have to follow. If he has agreed, then the government processes have to follow. Still, if he has not agreed, the ANC must then come maybe with a disciplinary committee, because he's defying the party that deployed him in parliament. Then we can start talking about the impeachment processes and all the other processes.
You know,
and those are the 2 processes.
All right, let's leave it there for now. We're going to come back with this discussion. We are talking the Zigzag Talks right here on News Today on SABC News. You don't want to miss this discussion. It continues shortly after this break.